A champion whose career appeared over late last year. But in an unexpected final act, Leyton Hewitt has rebounded and today plays for his first pro title in over 2 years. His opponent, an American, trying to win his first ever professional crown, Wayne Odesnik, in the finals of the U.S. Men's Clay Court Championships in Houston.
2 Americans with winning records on clay, current players, and Wayne Odesnik, one of them, Andy Roddick, the other.
And Odesnik is definitely slow.
Yes, I was about to say the same thing.
He is a slow player.
I think his favorite player, his hero in a way, is Nadal.
Odesnik to serve.
He does his best. He plays left-handed, and it takes a lot of time.
Leyton's been standing out here waiting for Odesnik, but you can understand from the standpoint that Odesnik has fought a long time to get to this moment. He wants to make it count. And now we talked about yesterday about how heavy it felt here. The ball felt like hitting a shot put. Now the sun has baked this thing for a couple hours. Is it going to make it a little faster?
Yes, it will definitely make it a little faster, which does help Leyton Hewitt. He hits the ball flatter. That'll let his shot go through the court a little bit quicker. It'll be tougher for Odesnik to grind.
Try to get you all your essentials here. Toughest match he had was the quarters. Fierce 3-setter with Isner.
Jurgen Melzer was maybe the most impressive win out of those 4. He played Kevin Anderson, a big serve and volleyer, Isner, a big serve and volleyer, Bjorn Pau, 29 years old. So Jurgen Melzer is a legitimate win, and that's a surprising scoreline in that second round match for Odesnik. Pretty clutch second serve. Odesnik felt the pressure of the first point of the match, second serve. Hewitt ran around and hit a winner forehand, and he said, I can't allow him to do that again. Take advantage of the second serve. Went for it and connected.
Well, right away, Jimmy, first game, you get an idea that Odesnik better put some first serves.
Yes, which he was doing well yesterday, serving at 70%. So far today, he hasn't gotten that first serve in, and Hewitt's saying, I'm not letting you get by, just sliding in second serves. I'm going to punish you. I thought that was interesting, as Hewitt thought, he went for an ace second serve the last point. He won't do it again here. I'm going to get a forehand if I run around, and that's exactly what happened.
And Odesnik disgustedly drops a ball from his pocket as Hewitt breaks to begin the championship.
Okay. Drop the set. That's one of the first things that jumps out at you. His semi-final win against Korolev was pretty impressive. Korolev was hitting the ball big, so they were having some great rallies, but it's been a pretty comfortable road.
You're a pretty serious tennis fan if you can if you knew any of that quartet.
As I said, he hasn't dropped the set.
I admire you. Ooh. Odesnik looked, but won't get a budge out of the chair.
Right away, it's not a great court positioning battle if you're a Wayne Odesnik fan, as he seems to be pushed a little further behind the baseline.
Veteran Lars Grof's in the chair. He was doing a lot of the supervising and making sure that the court was playable. Going to be in the best shape, right? Which appears to have been done well.
Yeah, no, he was amazed how hard the court was underneath. If you saw it live an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, it was possible to believe you could play this quickly.
$30-15.
Never sure as a player how to react to this type of start, because Hewitt's taking it to Odesnik from the standpoint he's being aggressive, he's hitting winners, and Odesnik has to decide, do I stick with my game plan, which is roll the ball heavy and hope he comes down, gets a little bit worse, or do I feel like I need to start, this guy's too good for me to play my game and I have to start going for more than maybe I'm comfortable with. And at some point Odesnik might be forced to make that decision. Looked like at least at that point he already made it. He's going for it.
Yeah, he did. But Hewitt, see what a difference. Hewitt got away with second serves in that game.
Yes, he did.
And held easily. Leyton Hewitt, who played last year, played up through the Beijing Olympics despite a bad hip. He did not get past the quarterfinals of any event in 2008. Then had hip surgery in August, and we spoke with him earlier, and it was not as significant a surgery as the ones we've heard about, Guga, Magnus Norman. It was Leyton said he had some tears in the labrum, covers the hip socket, and those tears were repaired.
Almost more of a cleanup, I think he called it. Cleaning up the hip, and now he's pretty much seemed as though he was pain-free. Happy with the way he's moving.
Yeah, even though it wasn't as significant a surgery as the others we referenced, I think he seems to be still at least a little surprised at how well he's rebounded.
Yeah, he does. He does seem that way.
And Leyton, because he had very little last year in terms of points, any result he gets is going to leap his ranking. So he's going to be with a win today. Hewitt would be back to the mid-50s in the rank. Runner-up would leave him in the mid-60s. But he had fallen out of the top 100.
Well, and if he wins at mid-50s, he's getting to that level where you get in the big events, the Master Series events. So he just needs a few more wins, really, and he won't need wild cards. He took a wild card next week in Monte Carlo.
30-15.
So you could say he's the coach. He's here with him.
He's here with him, Nathan Healy, as his coach and former player, just maybe a year off the tour, Aussie.
But Leyton still working with Tony Roach.
And I'll tell you, Leyton has looked to Healy often in this tournament, and they've mostly support, a lot of fist pumping and come on type of stuff.
Odesnik pushed back. The depth of that ball.
Yeah, I think the ball skidded a little bit off the back of the line. Odesnik hoping to find a mark, but usually when it has that type of bounce, it's because it skipped off the tape.
Jimmy, would you say that once the point starts, Hewitt did a nice job to return that serve. Once the point starts, it's
exactly.
It's all Hewitt.
This was a slow turnaround of the point, wasn't it? It was a good serve, and it set up some early offensive moments in the rally for Odesnik, but Hewitt was able to comfortably counter that, and then as soon as he got control, you saw what happened. Ended up hitting a clean winner. So yes, at the moment, Hewitt's big shots are bothering Odesnik and not the other way around.
Hewitt.
So Hewitt has started with 2 breaks.
Hewitt leads the game to love.
Odesnik is, let's call him a scrapper. I mean, he didn't play college tennis. He didn't come out of one of the big product academies. He didn't get an awful lot of funding. He's kind of been on the borderline of that through his tennis career.
Oh no, he's definitely a scrapper, a grinder. He thinks of himself that way. He's a blue collar guy, comes out, fights hard, doesn't feel as though he's done anything unless he's exhausted and sweating and dirty at the end of the match. And if he doesn't get things turned around, he won't be any of those things in this match, just beaten. It's been all Hewitt so far.
Odesnik, born in Joburg, and family moved to South Florida when he was 3.
See, that was a well-played point from Odesnik. One of the problems I think he has is I don't think he feels...
30-11.
We saw him yesterday, doesn't volley very well. And so even though he had Hewitt in trouble in this point, much of the point, he had Hewitt running side to side and pretty far behind the baseline. Hewitt knows he's not finishing the point. He's not going to come in and hit a winner. So he can, when he's a little uncomfortable, put the ball in play, not worry about it, wait till he gets a shot he likes. Odesnik has to figure out a way to make Hewitt a little uncomfortable when he is scrambling.
30-15.
So a double, and I'm listening to you say that, Jimmy, and I'm thinking of the words that we heard Odesnik say yesterday. That one of the things he likes about clay is because he feels like he can, on this surface, force his opponent to play his game.
And you're talking about the other, him having to adapt to his opponent.
Right now, it seems
May not be something he's all that good at.
Maybe not. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Third down.
Look, he did give it at the French Open last year. Odesnik reached the third round and gave Djokovic all he could handle in that third round match. I think it was straight sets, but they were tie breaks and each set was tight.
Yeah.
Hewitt with just a tiny bit of a left in him. 3-love, 30-love, double faulted, missed a backhand, and now one good swing here from Odesnik with a backhand down the line, and all of a sudden it's a break point and an inkling of hope for Odesnik if he's able to break serve here.
So suddenly there's Odesnik making me shut my big mouth.
Well, scrapping.
Exactly.
He's scrapping. He fought his way through that game. Roger Federer he also accepted a wild card. He'll be honeymooning while he plays in Monte Carlo. Married yesterday.
Think they'll be like Ralph and Alice Cramden?
I don't know. Somehow no.
I've just dated myself for all you youngsters.
30-15.
That's one of the best returners in the game, Leyton Hewitt, showing you why there. From behind the baseline, able to hit that ball with such depth. Odesnik dangerously close to taking too much time in between points. Took his time there and cranked out a 127-mile-an-hour ace.
40-18.
Great control of this two-handed backhand for Hewitt. Down low with his legs, back pretty straight. You want to get down with your legs, not bending at the waist. And then didn't try to do too much with that, as you saw. Didn't really rip through it. He just guided it down the line. That's frustrating when you're Odesnik, getting first serves in and being pushed around right away. He's got to find a serve that's causing some problems.
The 127. I'm thinking he needs to,
but he can't
pull
make
that out of his
every
pocket.
time. Yeah, that's just not his serve. He's got to mix it up, but it's, you know, I almost think not to the two-handed backhand. Maybe see what happens when you serve a few more to Hewitt's forehand, maybe even forehand body, the right hip.
pasting with that inside-out forehand.
Yeah,
Didn't he, Jimmy?
you know what's look at
Advantage, Hewitt.
Hewitt's wife. Very happy with what she's seen so far, but Odesnik has settled in now. He's playing pretty solid, and yet he's still struggling here to hold serve. A bad sign for him, as you're right. The inside-out forehand of Hewitt has been dangerous. Odesnik doesn't have that one shot he can just reach back and hit a winner with. He's got a good forehand. It's heavy and he can move it around, but it's not a finisher.
Oh.
As I say that, he says, shut my big mouth with a finisher, although it clipped off the tape.
Yes, he snapped that and just had enough hook.
He does have nice racket head speed on his forehand. It's just he doesn't have the flat one that goes through the court quick enough, which is why he would struggle on a hard court. That's why he's a better clay court player.
Advantage, Odesnik.
Almost like that serve better. Lefties are so programmed to serve to the backhand, then on a big point go for an ace to the forehand. Not sure that works against you. He serves to his backhand and he's in trouble every point. I'd rather see him serve to the forehand consistently and maybe use the
Left.
Ooh.
Service.
Use the wide one maybe on a big point when he's got Hewitt leaning the wrong way.
Good point. Entertaining play and a nice pick up by Odesnik.
Hewitt leads 3-2.
And Odesnik manages to back up the break. How about Wayne Odesnik? His next competition after today will be in 2 weeks in Tunisia. Challenger.
Very glamorous.
Same thing. Couldn't get in, can't get direct into the Masters.
Seen a couple of double faults from Hewitt, but that one was especially troublesome. He nearly whiffed. I told you yesterday I'm not crazy about his second serve.
That one looked extremely unconfident.
He doesn't have the safety of most players. He doesn't have the kick. It doesn't bounce up high over the net. It's a bit of a slice, less margin for error. Wow, if you had told me Leyton Hewitt's going to jump out 3 love breaks
3 games ago,
I would have said, well, okay, this match is over, but give credit to Odesnik. He's finding a way. I think he also said in his interview, didn't he, that he tries to bring you down to his level, or in some words similar to that. Maybe he's bringing Hewitt down, getting him to play his style. Hewitt gave a long look to the court after that miss hit, as if to say it wasn't my fault. Got a bad bounce.
13-14.
That was an actual important moment, those 2 points, and Odesnik not even an opportunity to get his racket on either of the break points. Grant Doyle, who's last year was coaching Sam Querrey, is now coaching Odesnik.
Will he be in Tunis?
I'm sure he will. That's a great play from Hewitt. He started losing some of the baseline rallies. So he says, enough of that. I volley awfully well, serve and volley. Beautiful first volley sets up the sitter.
That's a big save.
That was a huge save for Hewitt. Momentum at Swan.
Probably bigger for Odesnik.
Right. One of the things, he hit 2 aces to get back to deuce, and then the deuce point toss way in front, you see, and then jumps into the court on the first ball. But really beautiful volley from the standpoint he stayed low, but he was a little mixed up on what side to take, a forehand or a backhand on that first volley. He did a great job considering, because you want to hit that first volley inside the service line, or at least around the service line. He was behind it.
American Airlines look at Leyton Hewitt's career. You can see today he could push him not just 27 titles, but 1 win from 500, which has only been reached among active players by Federer and Moya.
I believe it puts him at 35th place all time.
15-all.
Such a grind when you play against a guy who returns serve as well as Hewitt does. And by that I mean you never get a comfortable game, a game you can just relax, exhale, hit a couple of big serves and you're out of it. He always makes you play, and that can wear on you. Every service game for Odesnik is an absolute grind.
That's what you're sitting here and you sense this right now, is that it's the combination of that plus the letdown. Odesnik just had 1540.
Which is why Hewitt yelled out that he knows that's a gift. His opponent's slightly down.
30-14.
It's amazing how quickly momentum changes, isn't it? All of a sudden, you know, Odesnik has that look of disgust, discouragement after he misses that forehand. A minute and a half ago, he had break point and had just won 2 games in a row and looked to have a lot of momentum.
Hewitt took advantage. On the verge of the set being leveled, instead, Hewitt will serve for the first.
New ball, please.
You see this great setting. It's you can't help if you're at all a baseball fan. You walk in and you think, man, it's like being at the Fenway Park tennis.
It drips with history. This stadium does. Greats have all played and won here, including a few Australians. Rod Laver. There's Dan and Jan Duncan. I don't like Odesnik's body language when he loses a point like this. He throws his hands up as if to say, that's just too good. What can I do? And I don't like that. He needs, if you're a grinder, you have to let the guy think, I'm here again. I'm going to make you play a point that well again and again, over and over again. The Mats Wilander style of play, really, where he might lose the first set, but he's not worried about it. He knows eventually you're going to wear out.
And that gives Leyton Hewitt the first set. Odesnik made one nice push to give himself a shot at getting in it, but Hewitt held firm. And Leyton Hewitt trying to put his name on another trophy as the U.S. men's clay court champion. So first-time titleist. That's what Wayne Odesnik is trying to achieve today in his first ever final. Could he be a first-time winner? Leyton Hewitt trying to win, and this is the first final for Leyton Hewitt in over 2 years, trying to get his name etched on that championship trophy. Earlier today in Casablanca, Juan Carlos Ferrero won in the final. Now that
are we in
doesn't
2002 right now? We
it
got
doesn't
Leyton
sound
Hewitt.
right.
We got Juan Carlos winning. It's
But you think that doesn't sound. I mean, here's a guy who's a Grand Slam champion, former #1 himself. First title for Juan Carlos Ferrero in 6 years. He had not won an ATP championship since '03.
that is somewhat surprising, just simply because he hasn't played poorly every week or had his ranking up.
Although this year he's finally dropped. Ferrero this week 115.
Wow.
Yeah, he had kept his rank in between 20 and 50.
Exactly.
And he's fallen to 115, although that will get a big boost tomorrow. Just in time, actually, to get him in the French Open,
That's
where he's
amazing,
a former
yeah.
champion. He should get enough points to get direct acceptance.
I think, yeah, he will.
Lap 40.
Odesnik started the match dropping serve, and now in danger of again starting a set with a loss of serve. Puts you right in a hole.
Well, Jimmy, we've definitely reached that place you referenced early. If Odesnik has another place to go with his game, he needs to go there.
Yeah, he needs to go ahead and try it. It looked for a minute as though he wouldn't have to. The way he was able to win 2 games in a row and get to 1540, playing his game, but all of a sudden it's turned around again. And as I said, somewhat of its body language for Odesnik. For a grinder, you've got to not show that you're getting upset the way the points are going. And he's shown that the shots from Hewitt are bothering him. He's either got to slow his ball down, I know that sounds crazy, but force Hewitt to create all the pace himself. Hit it high, heavy, and run. Or else step up and go for winners himself and see if he...
I'll tell you something else about tennis fans of Houston and really, I guess, from much of South Texas. There's a big regional cooperative effort that goes into this championship. The USTA Texas section puts a lot of time and effort in as well. But you see how many people are here?
Oh, yeah.
Given that it's Easter Sunday. And
given how it looked like the weather was, it almost looked as though you weren't
right.
going to have a match today.
The weather was bad, and I had completely forgotten until you reminded me that there's some other thing going on today somewhere.
Yeah, this is a golf and tennis
Hewitt was
country
watching,
club,
by the way, before. But anyway, the point is, I mean, it really tells you something, right? How dedicated tennis fans
it's
here.
nice to see. Well, Hewitt showed you what he thinks about hitting a high looper, what he does with it. He took that ball so early, didn't he? As soon as Odesnik threw up the high ball, Hewitt jumped on it with his two-handed backhand. That's one of the few times that Odesnik has run around the second serve and actually done something effective with it. It's been one of the differences between these two is Hewitt has punished the second serve of Odesnik. that was a beautiful, heavy forehand from Odesnik. He ran around his backhand, got himself a little out of position, but he hit the ball so strongly. Here, I thought this would be good enough. Hewitt under such control with that two-hander.
He knows how good.
Come on!
That's how. When he gives you that, oh yeah, he knows that's good.
Yeah.
What do you think about that play?
I like the play. I like to mix it up once in a while.
45, you think that's okay?
It's okay. Had he hit a winner volley, we would have said, what an intelligent play that was. Because he flubbed it, all of a sudden it doesn't look quite so smart.
Cheers.
You can tell by Hewitt's responses when he feels as though the moments are important. He's got a set and a break, hasn't won a title in a while. That's all in the back of his head. So in this game, he's been a little tight trying to consolidate the break. Missed a volley at 40-15, double faulted to get the deuce. He didn't want to give Odesnik any hope. That ball just caught a piece of the line, that forehand.
And there's a good hold for Hewitt. So he is in command here at the U.S. Clay Court Championships at this most historic River Oaks Country Club. They've played 75 years now of championship tennis in various incarnations here. There's a look at the other courts in play, and of course a prestigious golf and tennis club. But for this week, they even took half the first hole away from the golf course to help accommodate what's needed to put on an ATP World Tour event. So, Jimmy, here's what's something that came across all of our attention a couple of weeks ago. This came out with a Sporting Goods Manufacturers Association survey. It's just about 3 weeks ago. Fastest growing sport in America by far this decade, tennis.
Those are of traditional sports.
Yeah, right. No, you're snowboarding and skateboarding.
Yeah,
thing. We don't count
exactly.
that. Not counting that, right? But I mean, you're talking about this is not done by tennis. This is the Sporting Goods Manufacturers Association, independent body that did this.
Great
survey.
news. Great news for our sport if that is indeed the case.
Hip that, says Hewitt.
There's no hip problems. I think you asked me yesterday, do I see any difference? And I really don't in his speed. And this was a great example. Beautiful get. And now Now digging in to cover that with a little flick of the wrist. He's able to get that by Odesnik.
Well, Hewitt's family's here, his wife and both children. They've been staying for their time here in Houston in one of those beautiful River Oaks homes. And
the Flores, Jim Flores' home, which has 18 bedrooms. Just
it's not a home then.
Just so he can
surpass that label.
Pick whichever room he wants, change it every day.
But Hewitt's trying to make this a long, happy flight to Monte Carlo for the family. Oh, Hewitt got something.
Come on!
Well, he's starting to feel it now, the depth he got in that point. Kept Odesnik out of it. And he now can feel that championship within reach.
Leyton.
This is when Odesnik made his little move in the first set. 3 love, 2 breaks down, was able to break hold and almost break again. That was a smart serve from Hewitt. His second serve's been a little bit iffy. He took something off that first serve, made sure he got it in play. Still coaxed the air on the return. And that backhand of Hewitt is just beautiful to see. A heavy, deep ball to his backhand causes him absolutely no trouble. He rips the backhand cross court so well. Sets up this sliding winner forehand down the line, and it's nice to see Hewitt nearing the end of his career, wanting this title so badly. He's won Wimbledon, he's won the US Open, and you get the sense this one feels just as sweet if he can keep it going. Because it's been a while. second serve that's a little more reliable,
Yes,
I think, Leyton, if he's going to keep moving up the rankings too high. That's going to cost him some matches.
But you've hit it. That's the one thing you've seen this week here, Jimmy.
Yeah, the rest of his game looks pretty much like Hewitt to remember.
Odesnik, as he did in the first set.
Yeah, we've just got this match on a loop. We're playing the first set over again.
Hewitt leads
3-love 2
against
breaks
one.
to same thing again. Let's take a look at Leyton Hewitt serve and the problem with it. And really the first thing for me is that you want to hit the ball up and out. That was a better second serve than what we've seen from him, so that might not be. The toss was nice and to the left like it has to be for a second serve, and he hit up on it a little bit more. But what he's been doing is carving around the outside of the ball, more of a slice serve rather than a kick serve.
Finał.
It's funny is I'm not sure it's a good idea for Odesnik to run around his backhand. I know his forehand's his more effective shot, but
So why?
it gets him in trouble when he runs around his backhand. He leaves court open for Hewitt to start taking advantage of the point.
Ooh. 15-13.
Didn't see enough of that from him today, Odesnik. He hasn't gotten that wide serve maybe wide enough. That was a nice 1-2 punch. Big wide serve that set up this sitter forehand in the middle of the court. And you can see the racket head speed he produces on that forehand. A lot of whip.
$14-13.
That's the pressure of Hewitt's return that caused that double fall. Odesnik wasn't nervous. He just felt like he had to go for more 109 miles an hour in that second serve attempt.
That's what jumps out at John Odesnik.
That's a shot I don't think Odesnik is able to do very well often. That was a delicate little shot, a good sliding slice low, and Odesnik changes grips and showed some nice hands that time. See, he didn't even change grips almost.
Left versus.
I'm sitting here watching where Hewitt's playing. Jimmy, thinking about your point earlier that lefties get so conditioned to serve to righties' backhands. I've rarely met a righty that would have volunteered to please serve to my forehand.
No, that's true.
But it's funny because Hewitt was leaning so far out to the wide side there, and Odesnik put both serves
there, yeah.
right there.
And the problem with that is Hewitt's backhand return is ridiculously good. How does he hit that angle without spin that we saw in that return? It was a flat angle. I think serve to the forehand is more effective.
So those last 2 points would be your evidence.
Left versus. Yes.
Again, Hewitt's double faults have been because his second serve looks a little shaky. I feel like Odesnik's double faults are because of what Hewitt has done to Odesnik's second serve. Because he's been so aggressive with the returns, because it's been so tough for Odesnik to find a way to win the points, he's trying to overreach, overhit his spot on second serve. Now, you got to give Odesnik some credit from the standpoint of he's trying some different things. That time he just chickened out. He was going to come to net on the first backhand and then bailed out. And that's what allowed Hewitt to eventually get control. But he knows he can't win with the way he's been playing, so he's trying to figure out some strategy that might work. I love the way Hewitt played that point. When he was in trouble, when he felt as though he was under pressure, he just threw the ball up high, started the point over again. That's not the most comfortable shot for Odesnik to slice backhand. Didn't really have to go to it on that shot. He had plenty of time to hit it with two hands. Going for the delayed serve and volley there, Odesnik was. Trying to find an answer. Ooh, wow.
Yep, got away with one there.
Discouraging for Hewitt as he wasn't trying to do anything with that second serve return. He was just looping it, trying to get it in play, start the point.
Advantage Hewitt.
Classic example of how tough and how an Odesnik, a player like that, has to fight, because he gets a break and he's unable to build momentum.
Yeah,
this game is such a struggle for him.
Every game on his serve has been an absolute grind. It's almost as if they're even on his serve. Oh no, he let it go. He better be right.
Yeah.
Because the linesman
Here
called
comes
it good.
Lars out of the chair. And Odesnik was right.
Yes. Leyton Hewitt looked like he was about to argue and remembered that he won the sportsmanship award here this week and turned back around and said, I gotta not upset the people who voted for me.
Advantage Hewitt.
Now we've had a whole bunch of break points in this game. And Odesnik's so far survived them.
Well, this is where lefty serve in the ad court is more effective. He does have that opportunity. His best serve for a free point is that 128 to 130 mile an hour down the tee.
Here it comes. Oh, he's going wide.
Going wide. Now he's faced with a second serve. That was it. To tell you the truth, when that point started and Hewitt was inside the baseline or on the baseline, Odesnik was not in the position he's won many points from back here. Kept hitting as hard as he could and finally got around a backhand and was able to hit a clean winner from there.
Leyton's last couple balls just got a little shorter.
He's not, I mean, he's up a set and 2 breaks. He's starting to crack a little, showing a little sign of pressure getting to him. He knows that all these break points have been virtual match points, really. And if you remember, he's missed a couple backhand returns. He rolled one on one of the break points, just trying to get it in play and wasn't able to. Say this is a pivotal game, especially the way it's gone. And momentum's always swing quite a bit when you have long games where both players have plenty of chances to win the game. And usually the winner of that game can take some momentum away from it.
Now we've got a stats-free experiment going here this weekend, but this has been got to be 20 points this game.
Yeah, you're right. This is Hewitt's so good at just sticking his racket out and finding decent spots. That's a great forehand from Odesnik. Thought he might have had enough to win the point, and instead Hewitt slides that backhand right off the sideline. If we had a stat, we'd probably say something like breakpoint number 9 in this game. At least that's what it seems like. He's gone 2 or 3 times in a row for the wide one. Just going there again. Where are those errors at any other time except on these break points? That to me is a sign that Hewitt's getting a little tight. As he gets to the finish line, he's getting ahead of himself, thinking about it. It's funny how you forget how to win in some ways.
That's exactly. It's well said.
If I remember right, it seemed as though Hewitt, at least, he broke onto the scene. It's almost as if he won the first tournament he ever played in Adelaide when he was only 16 years old. I'd certainly never heard of him, and that's his hometown. Beat Andre Agassi along the way to win that title. That's when he was so young, so good, so young that there was no fear at that age.
Yeah, that's a marathon game, and Odesnik is able to hold his serve, stay in this second set. Now this is the guy who's shown some signs of life among the Americans on clay in the last 2 years at least.
Showing some heart in this match as well.
Absolutely.
Down the set, 2 breaks. Hewitt was fist pumping and yelling, "Come on," and having all theatrics, and he hung in there. As I said, it's almost as if we just looped the tape and played the first set over again. So far to this point, it's played out exactly the same way. 2-break lead for Hewitt. He gets one of those breaks back, Odesnik does. And then this was the pivotal game in the first set. It was 15-40. Odesnik had double break point to get back to even terms. It's funny, it's this sort of pattern you would think Odesnik would normally like. Forehand, his forehand cross court to righty's backhand. It hasn't been a favorable pattern for him in this match until that point. Hewitt's cross court backhand has been more severe than Odesnik's cross court forehand.
Left.
Odesnik yelling at himself, saying, "I need some height." He wanted to get that lifted it up over the net, but it's not the way he was playing that point. From the start of that rally, he was going flat and hard, trying to hit winners. After you hit the top of the tape, it's easy to say, no, you should have hit a looper.
Jimmy, if I'm right, with the one game in that first set, when Odesnik got the 2 breaks points, 3-2, 15-40, that's when Hewitt put 2 first serves in.
2 first serve aces.
And he had
to the forehand. You just saw another serve to the
Hadn't
forehand.
served very well
No.
today, but those two were huge.
You almost need to lean to the forehand side again if you're Odesnik. Just I told you, I could feel it. That's the one serve he feels somewhat confident with. Now forced to hit a second serve. So you don't run around your backhand against Hewitt if you're Odesnik and just roll it. Hewitt's two-handers just too severe. I mean, look where he is, Odesnik. Now he's in trouble.
And the players get the instant review here, and you saw Odesnik just collapse, and he saw the ball actually was good.
Hewitt can't get the fourth game in this set. He's had so many chances. And most of them on his errors are the reason he's not converting. Okay, this time if you're Odesnik, do not run around and hit a roller.
You had a pipeline right there, didn't you?
Wow, this is, again, quite an effort from Odesnik to look as though he was completely out of this. He has scratched and clawed and found a way for Hewitt to actually get a little tight. Hewitt's giving a few points away. Can't buy a first serve.
Well, Odesnik clears the hurdle he could not in the first set. He gets the second break back and levels the set.
It's amazing. If you could see this happening the other way around. If Odesnik had a 6-2-3 left to break,
Yes,
has never won a
exactly.
title, yes, you could see him getting tight. But we've told you all about Leyton Hewitt's career. He's been #1 in the world, 1 Grand Slams, winning 3-4 titles a year at one stage. This could actually be a difficult game for Odesnik because sometimes what happens, you're down big, it takes a long, hard slog climb back, and you take a little bit of a breather, just to relax. And you lose that, all the work you've done, that you've accomplished. So that's what Odesnik needs to guard against in this game. What helps him is he takes so much time in between points. Maybe he can get his breather in the first point or two. Serve and volley for the first time maybe in the tournament for Odesnik. Surprisingly, Hewitt not giving any chase after hitting the return. That was a great second serve from Odesnik. Kicking high, wide.
15-13.
And Hewitt able to hit it off the line. And then pretty good touch on that backhand. You could see Odesnik on this lob. He wasn't quite sure of. Nearly whiffed, really. Just hit the bottom of the racket. Those are so frustrating because you feel like when you've got someone hitting a defensive lob, you've pretty much won the point, especially in today's game. Wood rackets, you could get away with defensive lobs, but not with these bigger graphite rackets. I think that's the forehand that Odesnik needs to get a little more comfortable hitting to get to another level. He flattened that one out a little bit, and it was a clean winner. It almost has too much of the topspin mentality. You have to have both. Heavy, then you get a ball you like, and then you flatten it out and hit balls that have a chance to be a clean winner. Hewitt can't hit the fourth game.
It's well, everything his way. The emotion, the momentum riding, and this game's come unhinged.
Let's. Advantage Odesnik.
Odesnik hasn't been quick, but he's strung 4 straight games together. Now this has turned into a nice, tough second set with Wayne Odesnik having bounced back from 2 breaks down on a day that began with a severe thunderstorm, and the cover didn't work, so the court was left to be just a big mud hole. But credit to the crew here. They did a marvelous job over about 2 hours.
They almost remade the whole court.
Yeah, they put a whole new layer of top dressing down and got the court ready to play. We have had a beautiful day since that storm passed around lunchtime today. Blue skies, bright sun. And Leyton Hewitt saw the finish line very clearly about 20 minutes ago.
This would be a major blow to any comeback hopes, don't you think, for Leyton Hewitt if he had a 6-2, 3-love, 2-break lead against a first-time finalist ranked 100 in the world and found a way not to win. It looks like he's just falling apart.
The game is falling apart.
Odesnik has sensed it, hasn't he? He's stepped up his game with flatter balls. He's trying to hit some balls with some pace. That was an example. He had Hewitt backed up and he moved in quickly. Really was all allowed by Leyton Hewitt, this comeback.
So
Odesnik now will gather himself and try to push this to a third set.
I want you to take a look, Ted, if you sense. I get a sense that the footwork from Hewitt is slowed down a little bit, and I don't know if that's tired, if there's pain, but there's not the intensity of his footwork, and it shows you the most important thing in this sport is your footwork, being in position, set up for every ball. The energy has come out of the movement of Hewitt the last few games. Hewitt. This actually didn't look so bad. Moved pretty well to that ball and was fighting hard, as you saw, to get back to the center. Although there's a little grimace at the end of it. I'm not sure. I hope there's no injury. Tough bounce on the third point, broken string on the second, and serving to even this at a set, all with 5 games in a row under his belt. Odesnik under a little pressure.
Yesterday he failed to serve out his match against Powell the first time, and then on the second attempt was able to do so when Powell 4 errors in the game.
Yeah, that was the key, as Powell had love 15 and a nice forehand that he missed wide, and then from that point on, Odesnik was able to hold serve.
Server hadn't done very well in this set, has it?
No, server hasn't done that well in the match in some ways. Hewitt hasn't served well percentage-wise. He's been winning the rallies up until the last 2 games. Odesnik, it's been a struggle every game he served virtually all match long. And I heard a let as well. Now break point saved with 2 great serves.
He's cranked 127, 123.
Yeah, and in the corners on both of them. But you gotta believe now that it's the 3rd break point. He'll miss this first serve. Wide one, which was actually, it turned out to be a pretty good play. Just missed the
I love listening to you guess along with this. This is fun. So Hewitt breaks and denies, at least for now, Odesnik the set.
Question is, can Leyton Hewitt hold serve? It's been a while since he's managed to do that. Has to hold here to stay in this set. It should be 30 love right now because that first backhand that Odesnik hit was about 10 feet wide and it hit the tape. And
how often does that ever happen to you?
Not very often.
I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a ball at exactly that point. That ball would have been, might not even made the doubles out.
Right. Hewitt should petition for 30 love. Here is the point before, that backhand that was going in the alley. It hit the single stick, that stick that you see holding up the net strap on the side. Catapulted it into the court.
Left, 46. Left. Left.
Hasn't served well, Hewitt. He's getting a lot of practice just in this point. 3 lets in a row. Good attacking backhand return, and Hewitt takes a long look, decides not to have anyone come check.
Odesnik's on his third shirt. He's chucked the cap.
Yeah, that's a couple errors this game, and said, I don't want to have it any longer. You know, Hewitt's been playing poorly the last few games, last half of this second set. If you're Odesnik, why are you trying to hit winners off that ball with his backhand? Put the ball in play. Hewitt's been giving you a lot of points. Give him a chance to make some errors. And in this game, serving to stay in it, Odesnik hasn't really made Hewitt work too hard. Just a short time ago, and Hewitt was looking up at his box and gesticulating wildly. Thought he'd had this thing won. All the momentum. Very positive back. You got to give her credit for that. Though things have gone wrong, she still seems very content.
Now a hold for Hewitt to 5-all.
Love 15.
Pressure has been a funny thing in this set.
Yes, it
and
has.
right now it's back a little bit on Odesnik.
Well, he's lost, certainly, obviously, he's lost the momentum, and can he get it turned back around? And that's a gutsy play for two reasons. Hewitt not accepting the line call. Ooh, boy, that's tough for Odesnik. From a mental standpoint, for the longest time, he thought he'd just gotten to 15 all.
That's sir? That's That's the one.
And it took Hewitt.
Ball skidded off the line. That's why it went up and down.
Hewitt took a long time as well to sort of say, you know, take a look at that mark. So it gave for a long time. Odesnik thought it was 15 all. Now he's faced love 15 second serve. This is going to be fairly tough. Wow. That's a gift from Hewitt. Good second serve from Odesnik, give him credit. He stepped up to the line and hit a pretty nice wide second serve. But Hewitt's two-handed backhand has been so reliable until pressure moments today. Both these guys just throwing in too many unforced errors at these big moments, at these important moments. That was a chance for Odesnik to get some momentum back Instead, he's under pressure at 30 all. Where has that backhand been? That was the shot that was so effective in the first set and a half. He would get this roller, this high looping forehand from Odesnik, step in and hit that flat cross court, pretty sharply angled backhand.
Pressure. Fought his way and clawed his way back, and now
6-2, 3-love, 2 breaks down. You're thinking that match is over. Everyone does. Odesnik, 5 games in a row. And by the way, 5 long, tough. Every game was hard fought. Now he's on the verge of allowing Hewitt to serve for the match. This is where Hewitt's faltered, by the way. When he's been on the verge of just sewing up the match, he has made errors. This is another opportunity for him.
Flirting with danger. Hewitt barely got the sideline, but he gets a break, and now we'll have a chance to serve it out. Now the emotions of a long battle back kind of spilling out for Wayne Odesnik. There was that shot that Leyton Hewitt floated in the last point that, according to the judgments, clipped the sideline.
Like that. It's not a fast shot. It's right because you're up, sitting up top. You should be able to see that. You can see that, but that is right there. My job isn't to call the line. My job is to play tennis. It's your job to call the line.
See, what happened was, you'll see this backhand down the line after the point was over. Odesnik at this point, he found a mark that's out with that backhand, but he played the rest of the point. He played another couple of shots. He had to stop it there if he wanted the mark checked. He finished the point, went back and looked at the mark and said, hey, this mark is out. How did you miss the call? Just to add a little extra to the chair. Why did you not overrule? And the way that Hewitt has struggled with the lead, that argument, I understand why Odesnik had it, but it only helps Hewitt in some ways for Odesnik to show his frustration, his anger right now. He's got to make Hewitt believe he's still in this, he's fighting. See if Hewitt gets tight again when serving with a big lead. The answer is yes, he's still tight. Second serve didn't have a whole lot on it. It's funny, the energy from Hewitt has drained out after a set and a half. He's still moving okay, but there's no more come-ons during important points that he wins. Another error from him now with the lead. And maybe that's his way of reacting to pressure, as it's sort of he's caving in on himself. But even that's a good serve. That earlier in the match would have at least had a muffle. Come on!
I think the last one was 3-love.
Yeah,
2-3 love was the last one.
40-30.
At a championship point.
There's Leyton Hewitt
6-2.
has won a title for the first time in over 2 years.
And boy, did he make it difficult for himself at the end, didn't he? 6-2, 3-love, 2 breaks, cruising along, looked to be too good for Wayne Odesnik today. Odesnik clawed his way back, ended up serving for the second set. Hewitt able to somehow find a way to win the last 4 games and win a championship for the first time in a couple of years. And it showed. He was nervous for this win.
Leyton Hewitt, the 2009 champion at the U.S. clay courts.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.